Right. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many people here, actually, and it's great to have such a buzz around WRC. It's also nice to see so many familiar faces. For those of you that don't know me, and that's the first mobile phone that went off today, and hopefully the last one, so that's one of the things I have to say. Please turn off your mobile phones. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark Smith. I'm one of the two joint managing directors of WRC. Don't ask, it's complicated, but it's WRC, so we don't do things the easy way. You will meet my other joint managing director later in the day, Tony Griffiths, who I think is chairing one of the sessions this afternoon. Before I go any further, I just want to say a few words about housekeeping. Please, I think there are some seats there, aren't there? Are there some seats? Because there's a lot of people standing at the back. Don't be shy. Come on, sit down. Okay, some housekeeping issues. Apologies for the drought. Obviously, I think it's the coldest, wettest drought I've ever experienced in the last month. But I'm assured that it is actually a real drought and that we need an awful lot more of this stuff. So before we can get the groundwater recharged. But one of the things is that if the fire alarm sounds today, it's a continuous bell. There is no practice. So if it is the real thing. So please, it says assembly point 4. Please make your way to the nearest exit. The nearest one is behind my back, actually, on the other side of this wall. There's various other exits around. Assembly point 4 is out the front, basically. Okay, so just make your way out the front to the visitors' car park. Toilet facilities there's toilets on the first floor, there's toilets on the ground floor, there's other toilets around the building as well. We're not used to having this many guests. So we've doubled the population of WRC today, really, which is great. You're all very welcome. You know, there might be a bit of a rush of coffee time, so just hold back a bit if you can. No smoking. We have a no smoking policy like everybody else. And as a reformed, heavy ex-smoker, I know that it's difficult to get through the day. So what we have done is I've made sure everybody has a nice clean ashtray. It is out in the rain, I'm afraid. But, you know, I know smokers are hardy people, so if you need to have a fag, down there, please, out the front, okay? What I would like to do is I'd like to take just a bit of your time, just a couple of minutes, to try to introduce the day and lay out my hopes for the day. Also try and set some targets so that we can try and achieve today, because I'm keen that, you know, I'm very conscious that everybody's given their time here today, have come down to talk to each other and listen to each other, and I want something to come out of the day. I want something that we can build on going forward, and it's not we being WRC, it's we being the people in this room and those that couldn't join us. So if I start off, you know, WRC has a very long history in the water sector, and actually this year, 2012, is our 85th birthday. So we've been around a long time, and we're very, very proud to be part of, what I think is the great innovative heritage of the UK water sector. It's reasonably easy to knock us, but I think there's an awful lot of good stuff has been done over the last 85 years in our case. I think like the rest of the industry, WRC was privatised in '89. And what we are now is we are an independent majority staff-owned PLC that essentially works within the UK and Europe, providing research and consulting services. What we do and what we're passionate about is collaborative research. We like bringing people together to solve difficult problems. I think we're very, very good at it. I think in some ways we are unique, not just in the water sector, but also in the utility sector, and actually putting such a focus on collaborative research. Hence, it's great to have everybody here today. We are very proud of some of the outputs of the projects. And, you know, outside in the exhibition on the concourse, you'll see there's some banners hanging down, and they're what we call our success banners. There's some of the, I suppose, the flagship projects that people understand and have probably taken part in. So have a bit of time to have a look at them. Some of them are quite good and quite striking. I like particularly the one about Stoat running free. If you don't know what Stoat is, 10 years of my life was spent developing a sewage treatment optimization package, and now we're giving it away as freeware, so I thought it was quite good to have the Stoat running free. So, we are also very, very proud and guard our independence fiercely, and that is very, very important to us. We're staff majority owned, and our independence is absolutely key to the role that we play in the industry. Now, the theme, moving on to today, the theme of today's gathering is innovation through collaboration, and as I said, I believe WRC is unique in actually actively pursuing an agenda of collaborative research at this time. You probably have heard of, or you may have heard of, the WRC Collaborative Research Programme called Portfolio, which, since it was relaunched in just after the millennium, has actually completed over 300 collaborative projects and with a value of over £15 million. So each one of those 300 projects probably had 4 or 5 different collaborating, people, utilities, academics, supply chain, consultants ourselves. I think it is a great success there, and we're very proud of what that has happened. Alongside that programme, we continuously bring together different stakeholders from end users through academia, supply chain and regulators to actually try and solve. The bit that interests us here is solving the difficult problems. We're not very good at the mundane, but I think we're good at the difficult. As we know, the challenges being faced are immense in the next few years. Increasing population growth, climate change, implementation of the Water Framework Directive, I could go on. And the economic reality is that we cannot actually build our way out of this. I don't think we can actually go back the way we used to do things and put in more concrete, more pipes, etc., etc. So the answer that we're constantly getting, and it seems to be the silver bullet, is well, we need to innovate. Right, let's innovate. So how do we innovate? And I think that's something that will exercise. It certainly exercises my mind. And a lot of my colleagues that I meet in the water sector, it exercises their minds. Now, the water sector is a low risk, or even in some cases a risk averse industry, and I think that is rightly so. We shouldn't be ashamed of that. That is very, very important. We are fundamentally a public health and environmental protection industry, and I think we shouldn't forget that either. We mustn't take risks with such important societal influences. So I think a lot rests on our shoulders, and the challenge is how to innovate in such an environment, and that is an interesting question. And I think there's a lot of different opinions, but I think we can all agree that innovation really is something that we need to do, and we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and we can't sort of start taking a high-risk strategy. We have had some calls recently for the setting up of a water sector innovation fund. I think Cave mentioned it in his review. There's been some comments on TSB. I know TSB have come up with a water competition recently, but I know there's been some derogatory comments on it's not enough or it's not big enough, etc. I've also heard calls for a national test or an innovation centre to be set up. I sort of want to put my opinion out in this today. I don't believe that innovation in the water sector is restricted by funding. I really do not believe that. I think it's restricted more by not understanding and not engaging the problems, and I do fundamentally believe that. I don't believe we need to wind back the clock to when the Water Research Centre was the national centre, with a lot of the expertise sitting in its ivory tower. This was one of the ivory towers. This building was one of the 3 parts of the Water Research Centre. And notice I differentiate between Water Research Centre and WRc. WRc today is a very different beast to the one I joined in 1989. I firmly believe and passionately believe we need to collaborate more to innovate better. And I see nobody I talk to or anything I see actually changes that for me. I think that is absolutely critical. Today, I think, we have to look at ourselves, and I think we are all guilty about this. The supply chain, I feel, needs to stop complaining about cyclical AMP spend. Mark Worsfold is going to talk in a minute. I'm sure he's sick of answering about why is this cyclical, why is the AMP spend cyclical. I think we, in the supply chain, I include WRc, we need to stop hiding behind frameworks, and we need to start listening to the requirements of the end user, and this is key. And I don't see the end user as being the utilities. The end user is the customer, is the consumer, is the person who drinks the water, is the person who uses the river, is the person who actually exists in the environment. The utilities, I guess, also need to be more open with their needs. Requesting innovative solutions and then not actually sharing what your problems are is a difficult one as well. I feel the regulators need to work to ensure that sufficient impetus is available to drive that innovation. But equally, I think it's relatively easy to beat up on somebody that you're not a member of. I can blame the utilities can blame the supply chain, we can all blame Ofwat, and then when that's out, we can blame the Environment Agency. But ultimately, we're all in this game together. We have to actually decide how do we do this. Government, I feel, needs to take a leadership role, far more of a leadership role in some of these national problems, because they are national issues. But we need to grow up a little bit, and I think have an overall, a more grown-up conversation about actually put aside a bit of self-interest and try to get together to understand, get our desired result. And the desired result actually is we all have a common aim here. It's relatively easy to actually see. We want to maintain the quality, we want to improve the quality, we need to get better solutions, but it's a common aim. Nobody disputes the aim. I think today what I'm delighted with is there's about 150 stakeholders here from all parts. I think there's somebody from every water company and water and waste company in the UK. And what I hope today is a start of a process of better collaboration. And I say start because I don't think, what I hope doesn't happen is you come here, have a nice day, cup of coffee, have a drink tonight, and say, well, that was great, good day in balmy Swindon, in the rain, and then nothing happens. So I think it's up to us all, I think, to drive that through. And I want it to be the start of something. My feeling is WRC, with its unique history, is ideally placed to bring together key players to begin a process of culture change and to enable a more open approach to innovation to occur. And also have a respect, I think, towards everybody's different drivers. We shouldn't be ashamed that we're commercial organisations. We all have to turn a profit. We all are in this for various different reasons. We shouldn't be ashamed of that. There's lots and lots of, I think, different initiatives going around. We need to start pulling these together and stop reinventing the wheel just because we didn't invent it. On a more personal note, I'm a chemical engineer. I'm a chartered chemical engineer. I've spent all 22 years of my professional life in the environment sector. A lot of it in this building, right? And actually, most of that, I think, has been well spent. I'm very pleased to have spent time in this industry. From my accent, I'm not from this side of the I don't know, it's not a pond, is it? It's a stream, I suppose. But when I graduated and I came over here, I got a job with WRC, Water Research Centre at the time, and I've never found the need to move on from here because it has been such a dynamic, changing industry. Some people may be surprised that the water sector is like that, but to me it is a very, very fascinating industry. I've enjoyed most of my time here. I think I consider it time well spent. WRC is a bit quirky, I'll say that up front. It's a little bit of a quirky place. At times it can appear a bit remote, even to those of us who work here, I think. So, but equally, it has the ability to deliver consistent excellence when we listen to our clients, and this is key, when we listen to our clients and work with our partners and other stakeholders. So, I'm sort of trying to reach out today and say, we all have got a common aim. We all have got skills that I think we need to start talking more together. We need to stop trying to do each other's work and understand where the expertise is and go to it. Everybody here is passionate about what we do. I think we're all driven by the technical challenges or you wouldn't be here. Today, I hope you just spend time to meet each other, go on the tours. We've got umbrellas, don't worry. I'm assured that the weather is going to get better, right? Okay. Today, for those of you that aren't of a religious persuasion, is the feast day of St. Mark the Evangelist, so my namesake. So I had a word, and I believe the weather is going to clear up once the tour starts. So, trust me on that one. If it doesn't, either I don't have influence or he doesn't have influence. I'm not sure who. The workshops this afternoon, I think, are absolutely key. Each one will produce an output. And I think that's the facilitators have got a target to produce outputs. We don't want the talking shop. WRC will then invest further in these subjects and develop the themes so that the efforts that are put in today will be reflected in a collaborative research agenda going forward. That may be portfolio, it may be upward, it may be whatever, it doesn't matter. But I'm asking you to engage because what you do today and what you say today, please, it will help us form the agenda going forward. Mostly, though, I want to welcome you to where I spend a large part of my life. This is WRC, this is our house, this is our home. Everybody in WRC is here today. They're not in here because there's not enough room, but they are in the building. They will be around, they will be talking. Please talk to them, talk to each other, have a good time, okay? There's lots of activities going on. If you don't fancy getting wet, go and talk to somebody on the exhibition because I think there's an awful lot of very good innovation technologies there as well. The last thing I want to say before I go on to introduce our keynote speakers is WRC is very proud to support the Swindon and District Samaritans as our chosen charity. And some information is available in reception along with a collection box if you do wish to contribute. Okay? That's all I'll say about that. Finally, we have two excellent keynote speakers, and I've heard both of these chaps speak, and both of them are very, very good. So, no pressure, boys. Okay. So, Simon Barnes, Head of Innovation Delivery, Yorkshire Water, and Mark Worsfeld, who's Chief Engineer at Ofwat. I'm very, very pleased and thankful to them for giving up their time because they're very busy, I understand that, and I guess I can extend that to everybody here, giving up their time and in their busy schedules to be with us. And so, essentially, without further ado, I'll hand over to Simon. So, thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Any problems, just grab me or grab somebody else from WRC and we'll sort it out, okay? But welcome to WRC.